Okay. So, let me think about the story. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh shoot. Oh wait, no, I think I remembered it. Okay. So it's the 1920s, right? And there's this guy, and he's like this prodigy, right? And he's like 17 years old, but he's already gone through college and he's studied all these different things. He's so smart. And then, like, all of a sudden, this lady comes to his apartment, and he named his chairs. And one of them was named Hermes, and she sat in Hermes, and he said that she was like a ghost because like her dress just like floated into the floor. And so like she was an actress, right? And she was in this play that was playing in the city. And she talked to him, but he like never talked to a girl because he was always in his studies. And so he never like paid attention to ladies, and he was kind of like off put. And she told him like, no, I want to kiss you. And he was like, no, I can't be down with that. And so like they talked for a while, and she was like, I want you to come to my play. And he was like, you know, I don't know, maybe I will. And she was like, but no, you really should, because like I think you would like it. Like you saw this play and you like that one, so you should come to mine. And so he's like, okay, I think I'll come. And so he goes to her play, and like in the intermission, this big guy comes up to him with a note that says that she wants to meet him for dinner after the show, and to tell the guy that he wants to go. And so he says, okay, I'll go with her. And then they go to this restaurant, and he says like, you know, I don't want to be here. I don't like being here with you because I feel so out of place, and I feel really like out of my element being here because there's so many people here, and he's not like them because he's like so studious. Like he's only 17 and he's already accomplished like what people in their 40s or 50s only dream of accomplishing. And so like they're there, and he's like, you know what, I just want to leave. And so she leaves with him, and before like when they're about to like leave, he kisses her, and she's like, will you come see, like I'll send you a postcard when I'm in New York and I'm performing the show. And he says, okay, I'll wait for your postcard and I'll come visit you. And so like months go by and months go by and months go by, and she doesn't send him the postcard. And all of a sudden she's like in her play, and she's doing this dance that's kind of suggestive, like she shimmies her shoulders a lot, which is like weird at the time, you know. She's just like and like and she's like it's like a lot for the time. So she looks like in the audience, and she sees him in the front row, and she's like not talking for months, and she feels bad for not sending the postcard. Ooh, thank you very much. Ooh. And so like she feels really bad for like not sending him the postcard, and then she starts like, she looks at the look on his face, and it's like pure disgust, because like he doesn't, like he's not used to this kind of thing, like seeing a lady like parade around like that. And so like he's just like really disgusted, and she feels so embarrassed, and so she just runs off stage. And like, which is a lot because like she's paid to do that, like she's not supposed to run off the stage. And so like she just like runs off, and like he talks to her afterwards, like, you know what, I want to live here with you, like we can make it work, like I love you and I know that you love me. And then like, and so later on, like she moves in with him, and they call themselves the Head and Shoulders because he's the brains and she shakes her shoulders for money.
Yeah.
And so like they're living off that stuff. Like she says like, you know, I can still do my play and you'll like do your studies, and like we can make a living off that. And thank you.
You're welcome. Do you need anything else right now?
I don't think so.
Enjoy.
Thank you. And so like she's like, you know, it's cool, like I'll just do my play, and I feel bad about it because you don't like it, but you know, I have to do it to make money. And so time goes by, and she gets pregnant. And so like it turns out she's like 4 months pregnant when she finds out. And so she says like, you know, I should have stopped dancing like weeks ago, but like, you know, I have to stop dancing now. And so like he's feeling really down, and so he starts working out at this gymnasium. And he can do like all these tricks. And like he learned these tricks when he was at Yale. And so like he's like, oh yeah, this is just stuff that I do, you know? Mm-hmm. And then like some big dude says like, you know, we can make a lot of money doing those tricks like in front of people, like those are really cool tricks, you can do those. And like, so he just thinks nothing of it, like, yeah, whatever, that's cool.
Like acrobatics?
Yeah, like he could do all kinds of crazy flips on the beams. And then like he comes back and says, you know, I can't work anymore, like I was the one making all the money, and now like I can't work anymore. And so like he goes back to the gym that night and talks to the big guy, and he's like, what's that guy? Like he said, will pay me money to do this stuff. And he says like, oh, it's this guy. And so he starts doing like all his acrobatic tricks for money. And then like he's still like, he doesn't think it's that great because, you know, he's a scholar.
Yeah.
So he wants to make his money off his brain, but like I mean, he does what he has to do to support his family. And so, like, later on, like, time goes by, and she's, like, while she's in bed, like, pregnant and stuff, like, she writes books. Just, like, and she's not educated at all, so they're not, like, super smart books. They're so, like, books that she's writing when she's in pregnancy and stuff. And, like,
Just do something to do.
yeah, and that's just what she does.
My ankles are swollen.
Yeah, like stuff like that. And she just like, she's told her husband like, oh, give this to so and so. Like he wrote an article about me in this magazine and he published my letter, so he'll probably like get it out there. And so he sends this letter, like the book, to the guy. And he ends up publishing it, and she ends up being a famous author because of it. And then like one day, like he notices like some like great like lecturer that he's always loved like is in town. He's like, oh, I wish I could see him, but you know I'm always working. And then like the next day, like his wife is like, oh, you know, like so and so is at the door, like some Frenchman's at the door. And he's like, oh, who is it? And she's like, oh, this guy. And it turns out it's the guy, like the lecturer guy that he likes a lot. And he goes to the door and he's like, you know what, I read about your wife and I really love her book and I want to see who it is that wrote this wonderful book. And I have an article about her, and it's got you in it too. And so he's like, oh, why am I in this book? And so, like, it says in the article, like, oh yeah, she's this great author, blah, 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 and he's an acrobat, and they call themselves the head and shoulders because she's the head and he's the shoulders. And so, he says to the guy, if opportunity ever knocks, don't answer. Because that's what'll happen. Like, your entire life will get turned absolutely upside down. He didn't want it.
He was the head and she was the shoulders.
Exactly, he was a smart one. And she was the one that shook her body for money, and now it's completely flipped around where he's the one on the beams and she's the one writing books, and that's the life that he wanted, but she got. And so, that's the end of the story.
So
that
was
if
he
opportunity knocks, you don't answer because it could.
But wasn't he still happy?
Oh yeah, he was still happy. He had his family, but still, it's kind of like, it's just kind of ironic that like, you know, like, that's just how life happened for him.
Yeah.
The end.
Hot dogs.